laid out this vision of having a defense council with attorneys and PR firms and lobbyists and researchers and content experts that were completely teched up, that the minute our profession was under attack anywhere in the world, we could deploy that team and eradicate the problem.
Hello and welcome to the Remarkable CEO Podcast, a show dedicated to chiropractors who want to transform their job into a business so that they can have a remarkable practice as part of a remarkable life, not instead of one. With your hosts, Dr. Pete Camiolo and Dr. Stephen Franson.
What's up, Remarkables? Hey, it's Dr. Stephen Franson. I'm excited to bring you another episode of the Remarkable CEO Podcast. I've got a very special guest, somebody, if you're a longtime listener of the show, you've met this guy before. He is the director of the Chiropractic Defence Council, otherwise known as the CDC. Say hi to Bharon Hoag. What's up, Bharon?
How you doing, brother, man? Great to be back. I appreciate the opportunity to share what's going on.
Oh, man, we so appreciate you. So I get to see behind the curtains what's going on. I know the diligence. I know the hours. I know your heart and the intention around what we're doing here with the Chiropractic Defense Council. But I wanted to bring you back in. You know, there's some people here who have no idea what the Chiropractic Defense Council is. They don't know what it's all about, what it's for, what its purpose is, who you are. They don't know anything about the backstory. They don't know anything about what you've been doing to date. So I thought this was a great time for us to do a quick, high-level recap of all of the above, and then get, what have we learned? We're coming off at the end of 2021. What's happened? What can we glean from your experience so far? What have you been seeing around the world as you are knee deep, or dare I say, eyebrows deep in chiropractic
That's
around the
more
world
accurate, right?
Specifically under this current climate. But yeah, give everybody catch everybody up. So what's been going on? What have we learned? And that's what we call our assess process. We'll look forward to 2022. What are we going to pull from 2021 that we're going to bring into 2022? What are you predicting? What are you seeing? What's coming down the pike? So, man, that being said, why don't we start off? Why don't you just introduce yourself and tell people what is the Chiropractic Defense Council?
Perfect. Well, so my name is Bharon Hoag. I'm not a chiropractor. That gets mistaken a lot of times just because of my love, passion, and knowledge for the profession. I'm celebrating my 27th year in the profession of chiropractic. I've done everything you can in this profession other than legally adjust. And that's a joke. So those that want to pay attention to my terminology, but yeah, I've been trained and I've been a seminar junkie, a long journey. I call myself the profession's biggest groupie it's ever had. They've tried a lot of times to get rid of me and I just don't go away. So my personal mission is to make chiropractic the number one healthcare choice in the world. And I learned very on in my journey that I didn't have to have a DC after my name to make that a reality. And so I've literally used the fact that I'm not a chiropractor, but I have the knowledge and the training and the education to be able to communicate chiropractic in a manner that the world understands a little bit better. And so I've been very successful through owning clinics, running state associations, serving on boards of national organizations, fighting the fight across the world. So I'm just, God, those of you listening that have any kind of a relationship with God, hindsight's 2020, but when you watch how God maneuvers you through different areas of your life to prepare you for specific moments in your life, my journey has prepared me for what I'm doing right now. It's prepared me for this fight. My unique background and experience and understanding and passion is really what's catapulting what we're doing to the level that we're at in a very, very short period of time. So my organization, OneChiropractic, is a 501c6 nonprofit organization that was founded in 2016. We founded it really off of a principle from Buckminster Fuller that says, you can't change an existing reality by fighting it. You need to create a new model that makes the old model obsolete. And I was very frustrated with chiropractic at the time. And there was a group of guys that I was talking to and communicating with. And we all said, you know what, let's do something different. Let's create a different model. Let's stop fighting and pointing fingers at other organizations in the profession. Let's just do different and then let our work speak for us. So instead of, throwing articles out and attacking different groups, which is what happens in our profession, we just wanted to do some things differently. So we were successful at taking on a couple of different projects and growing our following to a certain extent. And we were successful, but it wasn't anything earth moving, ground shaking. It kept me busy. I was loving what I was doing and we were behind the scenes making impact, but it wasn't doing in my heart what I really felt could happen. And my mentor and one of the 10 that helped get this thing started had passed away in December of 2020. And I was kind of rudderless. And as God's timing as it is, you and I connected on the the coast of Cabo and had a couple of drinks, and you shared with me a vision that you've been having, I believe, for 6-7 years. You've been thinking about this, but you couldn't find that person. You didn't have the cycles to be able to do it, but you kept shopping it to different people. When you shared with me the vision of the profession of chiropractic having its own elite strike force, like a Navy SEAL team that was completely prepared, spent 90% of its time getting teched up for the battle, 10% of actually fighting. I thought it was brilliant. And at the time, we were dealing with pediatric issues in Australia. We were dealing with x-ray issues in British Columbia. We just came out of a battle in Texas with the Medical Association. And really, if you think about it, you look historically, our profession's been under attack for 126 years, really since its inception, from various forms. Sometimes it's big groups like the Medical Association. Other times it's insurance carriers. Sometimes it's within our own, and we're attacking each other. And there's really never been a good proactive defense. Laid out this vision of having a defense council with attorneys and PR firms and lobbyists and researchers and content experts that were completely teched up, that the minute our profession was under attack anywhere in the world, we could deploy that team and eradicate the problem. Not only eradicate it, but have some swagger that's like, you might want to think again before you come after chiropractic. We are no longer the low-hanging fruit. So I loved that swagger, that arrogance. I've always kind of bordered on confidence and arrogance. That's kind of been my battle in life. And so it was not hard for me to be able to pick up that anvil and say, hell, let's go. I love chiropractic enough that I'm willing to stand toe to toe with anybody. But again, when you don't have that team behind you, that full metal jacket that you need to have confidence to go into battle, that's why our profession, I think, flounders. And we're very reactionary when issues come up, and we spend time trying to vet who we want, raising money, all the stuff we've always done that wastes precious time. So we started building it in February. You were gracious enough to let me take your idea and really build it. And little did we know that this COVID thing and the vaccine issues were going to be what they were. We knew it was coming at some point. I don't think any of us expected it to hit when it did. But since then, again, that was February. We started building it behind the scenes, started branding, building websites, all the stuff you do when you're building a new project. We launched in January. That was our first hey, profession, we're here, with a summit out of the storm, COVID or chiropractic in a post-COVID world. And that went really well. We had a couple thousand people that listened to really what was going on in the world and the opportunities and the threats and the strengths and weaknesses, all that kind of stuff that we were talking about. And then 2 weeks after we launched that, we had the very first mandate come in California. And that really set us ablaze. That's when we really became, everything we'd been prophesying about up to that point became reality. And so God's timing again, absolutely perfect. It started in California. Within 2 weeks, we had 7 states that were issuing mandates that affected chiropractors and their ability to practice. We immediately went full court press. We started hiring attorneys. We started vetting things, providing resources, working with state associations, working with national organizations, doing what we do. Again, I look back now and God is just incredible, because, even the trials we went through in the beginning of formulating ideas, coming up with terminology, making sure that we were really communicating our vision the right way, man, there's nothing better than being on the anvil. And man, we were on the anvil. We were the first group to respond as quickly as we did to these issues. Next thing you know, I'm talking to people in Australia. I'm talking to people in New Zealand. We are now in 7 countries. The CDC has created branches of the council in 7 countries. That's expanding as new people meet us, as our reputation of getting stuff done, of backing up our words, of being action oriented, not a bunch of diatribe, which tends to happen in chiropractic. If we're honest, a lot of people have great ideas, but taking that idea and literally backing it up is in our profession. So we have a great reputation of going into a country and immediately hitting the ground, immediately producing resolve and resources. And so that's kind of our journey. That's where we came
great,
from.
Man. It's great to hear it. And it sounds to me like you've been on 1 or 2 podcasts here lately. I know that you've been airdropping into every group that'll have you. Wherever 2 or more chiropractors meet, we're going to go and share the message, right?
That's exactly right.
I want to on just behalf of chiropractic, thanks for all you're doing, man. This was a brainchild of mine that's been sort of festering for like 7 years. And frankly, it was just, scratching my own itch, because I was frustrated just watching our remarkable practice coaching clients around the world, just seeing these these fights that they were in solo, right? There's just nobody there to help them. And, like you said, whether it was the rights to adjust babies or pediatric cases in Australia or take x-rays and first it was Ireland and then up in British Columbia. I mean, it's like, they're always picking fights with chiropractic and they attack the chiropractor, right? So, and I was frustrated that we didn't already have a legal team. We didn't have a team of experts who are backed by a regulatory team and a literature team, a research team with a PR firm, like a spokesperson. So it's just been so great to watch that happen. I knew we needed it. And I just knew we needed an operator, right? A hardcore operator can make it happen. And that's who you are, man. So just appreciate you. You've been doing yeoman's work, as I like to say on this, because that's the best word for it. I'm watching you. You've thrown your clock away. You've thrown your calendar away. When I trust me, man, I understand when you're a global organization, man, there is no clock, there is no calendar. There's just a battle. So, I want to reiterate something you said there, which is, just to double click on the purpose of the Chiropractic Defence Council, which is to defend the rights of the practicing chiropractor, period. That's the purpose of the organization. It is a nonprofit. It is a global organization, right? It's board run, right? Beautiful council with, just a spectacular team that is paid to be on that council, right? So we're not asking for volunteers. You know what you get when you ask for volunteers. We needed to have some, a team of people that were committed and they were on the ready, right? So it's a paid council, which is where the funding goes. And then there's all sorts of, volunteers around it that makes, that sort of lubricates the machine and makes it happen. And ultimately, by no means is this an anti-vax organization, right?
No, not at all.
This is a pro-chiropractic rights organization, right? So, there's many chiropractors around the world that think that vaccination is not a chiropractic, issue. Well, you know what? Fast forward to 2020 and 2021, and it has become a chiropractor issue. So we absolutely have to recognize that right now there is so much adversity. The chiropractors around the world are actually required to go against their own philosophy and against the science, and they're mandating them to get vaccinated to be able to even go into their practices, never mind see patients, right? So this is the fight that we're in right now. This won't be the last fight, Bharon, as well as I do. This too shall pass when we get on the other side.
And it's not the only fight we're fighting.
It's not the only fight we're fighting.
Okay, let's take a quick break and talk about Chiro Matchmakers.
Chiro Matchmakers will help you find the right person for the job. If you're looking to hire the ideal chiropractic assistant, Chiro Matchmakers will help you find the specific person missing from your team so that you can get back to using your talents to serve more people. Or if you're looking to hire the ideal associate doctor, CMM can help. Chiro Matchmakers helps chiropractors like you find the ideal associate doctor to unlock your practice potential and get you the freedom that you desire. To learn more, go to chiromatchmakers.com.
And now let's jump right back into our conversation.
Yeah, but we're doing more than that. Like in Canada right now, there are no mandates that affect chiropractors. So that, but we're fighting hard in British Columbia, and we're fighting hard against their colleges, and we're fighting against their examining boards because there are issues that still resonate that restrict a chiropractor's ability to function. And
that's right.
So that, yes, right now I know all the blaze is the mandates, but we're spending just as much time on, we're doing x-ray issues in England now. I just got pulled into that, and there's massive things going on there. So yeah, our issue is, anything that affects the rights of chiropractors. And I want to say this too, and I know those that are listening to this podcast are definitely leaning more vitalistic. That's just the natural group because of how you and I love and believe. And that is my personal belief. I'm very, very vitalistic. But the Chiropractic Defense Council is apolitical. I don't care how you practice. I don't care if you're a PI clinic. I don't care if you're a work comp clinic. I don't care if you do lasers. I don't care about any of that stuff as it relates to the work we do with the CDC. It's about your right to practice. It's about making sure that you can function within the scope of your state, and nobody from the outside comes in and starts limiting that ability. I would honestly say the only place we will draw the line is if someone's working to try to expand chiropractic to include drugs. Like, you're not going to see me ever doing anything that does stuff like that. But if someone comes in and starts saying you can't examine, or start saying chiropractors don't have the education to do this, or you can't x-ray, or you can't do, then that's the type of battles we're going to take on. And we're also going to take advantage of opportunities that exist. If there's a way for us to expand, we're going to definitely work in that favor as well as we work through our relationships. But it's, I just don't want anyone pigeonholing us, because right now the fire is the mandate. And we are not anti-vax. I want to be very clear. We are pro-choice, because I need you to understand that I don't care what your belief system is of this virus, whether it is a pandemic, isn't a pandemic, whether it's a rabbit hole conspiracy.
None of that matters.
None of that matters. But if you don't think that this issue is going to affect your right to choose in other areas where you're really going to care, you're sadly mistaken. We're creating an expectation and a narrative in our world right now. They're pushing the boundaries, and we have to push back, because it's not going to stop with a vaccine. If they can get away with legally mandating and forcing a population to do X, Y, and Z, that's not going to stop. So we're fighting not only because of the effect on chiropractic, but who knows what the next thing's going to be? Who knows what they're just going to randomly say is absolutely for the best interest of humanity. And so we're teaming up with organizations all over the world, because we can't allow this to happen. We can't allow that to continue. And so that's why we're fighting.
The power in the organization is the organization, right? Yeah. So it's organizing experts who have established relationships, who have established trust, who have established skill sets, who have established a network of communication, and learned and gained methodologies, and organize themselves, in such a way that we can actually act, as a collective, right? So there's so much power in that. So, I know that you're going to throw a forecast into 2022 for us. Like, what do you see coming down the pipe for this coming year? But before we go there, I just want to make sure people understand this is a nonprofit. We need your support. This is an opportunity for chiropractors, listeners, CEOs out there. Put your money where your mouth is, right? The best investment you can make in your business is protect your ability to have a business, right? So, Bharon, what is the call to action for my listeners right now to be able to say, all right, so how can I support the Chiropractic Defense Council? How can I support the CDC?
Yeah, there's two things that I need from you. And I want people to be very clear. Yes, economically, even more now, we've already spent over $300,000 in Australia. We've spent over probably $200,000 in the US. In Canada, we're now starting to spend, because we're fighting, it'll be very easily before we're up to 150, 200,000 in Canada. And now we're doing the fight in England. So, I mean, we're spending serious money, and thank God, praise, we've grown. We're just now under 2,700 months. Like, that's just never happened in chiropractic before. So I'm very thankful for that. And that means a lot to me, the faith that people have. And it also tells us we're doing a decent job of explaining who we are and what we're doing. But there's two things I need from you. Number one, I do need your economics. Our ask is $33 a month based on the 33 principles. And that's intentional for two reasons. Number one, we want you looking at that charge on your credit card slip and remembering that you're a part of something bigger than your four walls. I think that's one of the biggest viruses in chiropractic, is that we start thinking it's just our world, and that we have limited our consciousness about what works for us. And it's because we disagree with so many different people. It's because of just business and life and everything happening. I want a reminder for you every single month to look at that credit card statement and remember that you are a part of something bigger. And so the second reason that 33 is important is because it's a small enough number that if you're going to look at cutting expenses, you're not going to cut mine because it's not enough to really impact anything else going on. So we want it small enough to where we can count on it, because one of the things that makes our organization very different, and one of the keys to our success, is how we're able to spend over $500,000 already around the world, is because of our sustainability. Rather than for us going like every organization does and asking for big donations from your usual suspects, we're not doing that intentionally, because I don't want to be a fundraising organization. I want to be an organization that actually does the work that it's promising is going to get done. The only way that happens is by having sustainability, that every month we can count on a certain amount of money coming in, which allows me to go do the work, hire the attorneys, fight the fight, rather than going out and, kissing babies and raising my hand on a stage.
Yeah.
And so the 33, so we can get a bunch of people doing a little bit, that creates our 80, 90, $100,000 a month that we're generating, that gives the sustainability with our attorneys and the fights that we're in. So economics, yes, I need you to go to defendchiropractic.org, defendchiropractic.org, hit the contribute now button, go there. You have 3 options. There's $33 a month. We have a founding level for those that connect to our purpose and have deeper pockets. It's $18.95, which I shouldn't have to explain that to you. It's a one-time gift of $18.95 and then $33 a month after that. Or you can do a custom. If you don't want to do reoccurring, you could give us 20 grand in one time, which I would not yell at you if you wanted to do that. So we have options for everyone. But the second thing I need from you, now outside of your economics, is I need you to spread the word. Our model works with numbers. Our goal is to get to 5,000 people. We wanted to get there by the end of the year. We're clearly not going to hit that. I'm very happy with our growth, but we need to keep spreading the word. So you need to tell others about this podcast. You need to send them to our website. You need to help them understand who we are and get them to be a part of it. So if you yourself be a part of it and then encourage others. And then once you're connected with us, every single Monday, you're going to get a video from me updating you on exactly what's going on and telling you. So you're always plugged in. That's the other thing that makes us different is our transparency. We have transparency with economics. Our financials are on our website, as well as everything we're doing. Every single Monday, I'm bringing you up to speed on what's happening, where, why, and what. And then you have access to us to be able to answer any questions that you may have in between those videos. So it's a very different organization, but we need you and we need you spreading the word.
Okay, Doc. So you heard it here. So we've got thousands of doctors around the world that are already contributors or already supporters, $33 a month. It's, clearly it's a no-brainer. We have thousands of doctors here in the Remarkable Practice ecosystem. So hopefully we're going to be adding thousands more to this role. So Bharon, do some projection for us, right? Yeah. So in the Remarkable Practice in the CEO program, we talk about the APPEAR process. We assess, plan, prepare, execute, assess, repeat, right? That's our acronym. So we've just assessed, looking back. So what are we planning and preparing for in 2022? Just take 5 minutes, like high level. What do you see coming down the pike and what are we going to do about it?
So I see good and bad. I see bad first. I think there's going to be another big push, like just yesterday in Australia, New South Wales, which is a state in Australia, just announced a mandate that's going to be effective the end of January. We've seen a stall. We had seen no additional expansion of mandates anywhere in the world. But all of a sudden we see this with New South Wales. And I think that's intentional. I think through the end of this year and the very first couple months of next year, we're still going to see a lot of, it's kind of, think of any battle. If you're a historian and you watch any battle, right near the end, the losing side just does its last ditch effort and throws everything they can just as a Hail Mary to see if they can have a victory that turns the tide of the war. And so it gets a little scary right at the very end before it's just over. And that's what I think is happening. And I want to be clear, we're not flying solo. We're connected with the Children's Health Defense, with ICANN, with Stand for Health Freedom. We're connected with the firemen, the teachers, the policemen. We have an unbelievable network across the world of people that are freedom fighters like we are. And so this isn't just my own personal assessment. This is from conversations with everybody. It's going to get a little bit scary here for the next month or two, but I believe come near the middle to the end of first quarter, we're going to start to see a massive lift. And the only reason we're seeing it is across the world, it's turning into political cycles where people need to get elected. And so now they're going to start, because of the noise that's being made, because I want you to understand, we have a high percentage of contributors that are vaccinated, but they agree with choice. They agree that this isn't going to stop here. And eventually, they're already starting to see it because they just changed the definition of fully vaccinated to 3 jabs. So even the vaccinated are starting to get pissed off because they were told if they get it, they're good. And now they're being told they're going to have to get jabbed multiple times in order to qualify for being fully vaxxed. So we're starting to see this shift in culture because the lies are bearing themselves out and the narrative is having to shift. So we're expecting end of February, beginning of March, to start seeing a massive shift in the narrative on their end so they can keep their people in power, which I think it's too late for that, but that's what they're going to try. And we're going to start seeing a lot of stuff lift. We're going to get through the winter months. It's going to start getting into spring and summer. So the projection for 2022 is I think this thing's going to end in its current form. They're not done. Part of our strategy has been building this foundation so that we can respond even quicker with the next wave of whatever is they're trying with Omicron by going after our kids. If you look at any of the narrative they're putting out, they're saying this one affects the younger kids, which now supports the FDA's approval of vaccinations for 5 and up. And so it's very clear now what's happening, and the world is awake. There are some scary parts in New Zealand. They've went about it in a very, very draconian manner through legislation, and we've been fighting like crazy there. Praise God, I think we found an avenue that we can put a crack in their armor, and so we're pushing hard on that. But in the US, I think you're going to see a massive shift when we're getting into the midterms in 2022. We're already starting to see that. We should have a couple of Supreme Court cases that will go before the Supreme Court. That'll be the final nail in the coffin here in the US, which mandates that the First Amendment must be honored. We actually are the primary funding group of one of those pieces of legislation that will go to the Supreme Court. And so we expect that's going to hit probably February to the Supreme Court. And we've already got a preliminary that if we go through the right way, it's going to go in our favor. So,
right.
I think 2022 is going to be a year where the dust is completely settled, and now people are going to pick sides. And I think because their narrative has never been based on truth, it's always been based on control, manipulation, and economics. I think you're going to start seeing a massive shift. People are going to have to pick sides, and they're going to pick our side, which is going to give us probably the largest organized group since the Boston Tea Party, man. I think some good days are ahead.
Just awesome. All right. So we know truth prevails. We know God is good and he's in charge. And we have some battles ahead of us. Ultimately the Chiropractic Defense Council is a global organization. It's not just focused on the United States. In fact, the lion's share has been focused in Australia, and sounds like New Zealand's clamoring for some attention, and Canada, of course, across the United States. And really, these are the strongholds of chiropractic. We're not ignoring the rest of the world, gang. We just have to make sure that we don't lose any ground here, because then the rest of the world just folds like a deck chair. So it's really it's critical that we recognize that we're not an anti-vax organization. We are an anti-mandate organization when it interferes with the rights of the practicing chiropractor, period, hard stop, right? So support the Chiropractic Defense Council. This is the team that's got your back. This is the legal team of experts. They need your help. They need your support. These are long and expensive legal battles on your behalf. So Bharon, one more time, what's the link? And thanks again so much, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. defendchiropractic.org. And we would love to have you on. We want you a part. We want you staying informed. There's a lot of misinformation out there. And we have our team in place. We're able to meet needs. So if you're sitting there wondering what's going on, reach out to us and we're happy to give you some clarification. But Dr. Franson, again, I can't thank you enough for entrusting me with your vision. It's been an unbelievable ride. And we're just getting started. So the profession has really never been in better hands. Our ability to respond and move and to fix things is unprecedented. So we're excited about the days to come. Thank you, those of you that are listening, that have been contributing. It's only because of you we're giving hope to people in the world. And I think that's probably our biggest gift. I get emails every day that it's just nice to know I'm not alone. And to be able to know that we're making that kind of an impact where someone makes a choice of shutting down or continuing to practice, to know that people are still getting adjusted because of the work that we're doing. That's the most rewarding stuff for me. So awesome, I just appreciate it.
Well, what the world needs now is chiropractic, now more than ever. Bharon Hoag, Chiropractic Defense Council. I'll put the link in the show notes down below. CEOs out there, let's support the CDC and protect our beloved profession.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Remarkable CEO Podcast. Remember, what the world needs now is chiropractic, and what chiropractic needs now is more successful chiropractors. If you like this podcast, please subscribe, share with a friend, and leave us a review. And if you'd like to connect with us personally, direct message us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Now go and be remarkable.